had the opportunity to work with some choirs on some beautiful works that creates a connection which is very different from that with the orchestra. Is much more personal, is much more into the mind and body as well, much more. And yes, I enjoy it. I like it very much when I can wake some smiles and some curiosity, new curiosity in people's in people's activity and everyday life. And in the choir, you can feel that straight away. So I like it a lot.
Yeah,
but
it's so lovely to see you again, Cristian.
Yes. Thank you so much for inviting again to your interview.
Yeah,
and,
because I've been following you on Instagram and you're doing amazing work. And I just wanted to know, because the last time we spoke was at your graduation performance here at the Musikverein, and I would love to know what happened and how your career developed from there.
Yeah, we spoke 1.5 years back, I think even more.
Yeah.
In 2021, in June, I think, or in May. And since then a lot of things happened. A lot of things developed, because back then I can remember I was just starting kind of a career, I would say, but he was not really sure in what direction it will go back then, because I was in Vienna and I didn't know where should I start working, actually, because you want to perform and be on stage as much time as possible. And then back then I decided to spend more time, since I'm young and I can develop even more in Romania. And from that point in time, I kind of started a intense activity in Romania in lots of cities.
But why Romania specifically?
Because I had some very good friends which believed in me, musicians, and recommended to conduct several concerts and to conduct my first opera, and yesterday to conduct my first ballet and
amazing
choral symphonic works and opera galas and open air galas, and I've done any kinds of concerts until now, which is fantastic, because it's less than 2 years from the graduation, but it's but I hope I'm developing constantly, so to say. And here we have, in Romania, there are a lot of philharmonic orchestras which need the new fresh breath of young conductors or young musicians with new ideas. Actually, new ideas in the way of working, in the way of achieving some results, and not necessarily to teach them that they were doing something wrong and to teach them again what's music actually, but in the way of working, in the way of achieving. And I think we're doing well, and I will still have some debuts in new philharmonics here. There are, as I said, a lot of philharmonic halls in Romania, which is very good.
Yeah, but also amazing that, because there must be so many talented musicians, and then somebody like you comes in and you almost, give this fresh breath of fresh air to them as well.
And wake up a bit of wake up, because there is a need of much work and much dedication and more concentration and diving into some details that they normally don't, or not so often. Unfortunately, is already lost the work into the details. So they are happy actually about that, to discover new things in their work.
And the last time also I spoke to you, you mentioned something about working with choir, that you did that as well. Yeah. So is that also something you enjoy?
I enjoy it very much. Yes. I don't know what I'm enjoying more, working just with orchestra or with choir and singers, which is a bit different, but in a way we are doing the same music. we breathe all of us together, and we want to send something to the public, send a message, or send some energy and wake some emotions. I mean, we are doing anyway the same thing, but it's a different approach. And I had the opportunity to work with some choirs on some beautiful works that creates a connection which is very different from that with the orchestra. Is much more personal, is much more into the mind and body as well, much more. And yes, I enjoy it. I like it very much when I can wake some smiles and some new curiosity in people's in people's activity and everyday life. And in the choir, you can feel that straight away. So I like it a lot.
But we always think of conducting as an orchestra. You always have this association with the orchestra, and then but with the choir, you say it's different. There's a different connection with the singers.
Exactly. Yes, because you when you influence them, they are doing it straight with their body. They are not influencing something. They're not manipulating something external from their body. They are feeling everything. What are they asked for? And I have to feel their breath and their power and their how can I say, energy and their ability to hold the phrase or to sing it more expressively or much more clear and to transmit what's in the words, which normally doesn't happen in the orchestra. The orchestra is trying to create a much more abstract world of sounds, which we can translate it as we can with our own imagination. And the choir, I mean, because I can sing also and in a way gesticulate with my lips what they are singing, so I can influence them almost directly. And they feel every insecureness of the conductor. They feel also, and vice versa. A good conductor, which once has this will to raise something in the people's feeling about the music, then they feel it, even if the choir is not very professional. They feel it, and they grow just in 1 week. They can grow so much that they are not really that are not able to do in 1 year sometimes.
Amazing.
Really, it's exactly. So with the orchestra, you can work 4 days and learn a difficult, or 5 days and learn a difficult program almost from zero. And with the choir, you need several months. So it's a different way of working. It has it has to sit in your body. It has to be incorporated in every cell, and the voice has to be free and no very clear how much how much power and energy it needs to sing the whole piece or work. It's a different kind of learning than instrumental music.
And I wonder if it's, when you say it like that, that if, because it's people, you know, and it's human beings, that if they have a bad day, or if it is a you know, something happening, that influence the voice then as well.
Yes, absolutely. They cannot sing, they cannot express, even if they already know the music very good, and they are already trained, even how can I say, in addiction. I mean, even if the diction is already there and the pronunciation is virtuoso enough and everything goes automatically, if you feel bad, you feel that you can do half of that, and you cannot. You have to know that and feel that as a conductor, and don't force people. Just try to make them feel in a way comfortable, and if it's needed, then better to give them a free day or a free week, because we need everyone to give their best and not destroy their apparatus here.
Yeah.
The voice is very, very vulnerable instrument. If a vocalist comes to a wrong professor, so to say, which proves to be maybe a bit later, maybe sometimes in the beginning, then that voice can be also, let's say, guided in a wrong direction, and it could be destroyed for the whole life, because then it's very, very hard to regenerate it and to learn from zero. The voice is very vulnerable in that sense. It's important to have a professor that feels and knows every weak part of the body and of the voice, of where can it be in its best, so to say, position and light, and where it needs more of a support and more of a technical training, and a discipline is also very important for developing a good vocal technique and developing a good singing technique, because the voice needs to be needs to be protected, and it needs a great care for the whole life. It's not a so to say, a checkpoint in life when you sang the most difficult things and you already are well known and you can just relax. It's every time a big care and protection, and again and again learning to handle the voice. Sometimes it's so hard to handle, and you have the same feelings of singing loud something, for example, in a choir, but the voice doesn't give you the result, or it pains, or you don't have enough breath because the whole breathing system and all the muscles are not really supporting you. And this is important to keep and exercise, and it's a hard job to be a musician and to sing and to play.
But you have to also know all these things. I mean, because this is now, when you work with the orchestra, you have to understand all the instruments, but now you also have to understand the voice, and you have to understand all, you know, the aspects.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. This is I must say is not just a bonus, but a part of a great conductor. I would say that he's empathic with all the people, but just after knowing their technical possibilities and technical problems, and knowing the weaknesses, and then trying to obtain the best from everyone. It's absolutely important that a conductor knows how an instrument is played and what a player needs in order to have this comfort to play and to hold and to be with everyone else in the same color and in the same or a different color, but to be with everyone else in, so to say, in one team.
Yeah. But when you conduct the choir now, do you also have the orchestra to conduct it at the same time, or how does it work?
Yes, if we talk about vocal symphonic works,
yeah,
exactly, it's a work which implies maybe three steps. First of all is the rehearsing with the choir, which normally it depends. The choir could have its own choir master, which is teaching and not just teaching, but rehearsing with them until they get to a certain level. Then comes, so to say, the conductor of the concert and works with the orchestra as much as it needs, depending on the time we have. That the orchestra understands everything which the choir will sing and what is it about and how they can support it and not being over it and not disturbing them, because the orchestra is a powerful tool, is a powerful so to say car, let's say, or organism, and they have a great power. Actually, they have to know that and be responsible about it, and the conductor even more responsible how he handles with this power actually. And then comes into the play the uniting these two worlds, the choir and the orchestras. In the best philharmonic houses, let's say, the choir and orchestra are very connected and they know each other. They know how to play for each other, and this is a virtue that has to be, so to say, present in every philharmonic house nowadays. Then we just unite and try to work out the balance, and then give some space to the magic in the concert. Because not everything should be calculated and should be predictable. And this is just my way of doing music.
But it's but amazing that everybody, that they have to really get together and understand each other. And it's also I've also spoken to a conductor about opera conducting, and you've mentioned now that you've also conducted an opera. But there you also
I conducted 3 operas until now.
Really?
Yeah, I had the opportunity.
Amazing. Yes. But now you have to now also connect with the singers, with the soloists as well.
Absolutely. In the opera, in the best scenario, we can rehearse with the singers several days without orchestra. That just singers and piano to so to work on refinements on every word, on tempos, on every aspect that the singer is already ready for the stage, and also on the direction, on the regie, and on the expression of the movement, so to say. This is a very important period of rehearsal for the conductor. If the orchestra knows the piece well, then normally we get not so many rehearsals, sometimes just one, and then straight into the concert or straight into the performance. Or we could rehearse maybe from 1 to 3 weeks with the orchestra if the piece is very hard and new. And of course, the conductor has the goal to make to the orchestra clear what the singers will sing, even if the singers are not there. I mean, especially when they are not there. sometimes singing by himself, sometimes marking the words, sometimes yes, explaining what it's about. Sometimes, I mean, it should be every time actually, but the conductor also has to know very well the direction and the regie in order to explain to the orchestra why we need more time, why we need less time, why we have to play faster, why we have to play slower, why how much time do we have, why we are doing this cut, because operas normally in every house has its own cuts and its own because of the scenery, it has its own version, so to say, and this is the big responsibility for a conductor to make the orchestra know that, because no one will read some technical protocol or the score of the conductor to understand why we are doing this and that. And after that, the singers come into play after they learned very very well the regie, the scenery, and we unite again, and then we can work on balance, because again the orchestra sometimes has to be predominant and or dominant, and the most of the time has to take a big care of a singer. The singer has to make himself absolutely clear in every word, in every situation. It could be that he sings very high or very low. The orchestra has to be every time under or just supporting the singer, and not forcing, or as we say, killing the singer, killing his voice. So this is also a great and hard work. It's a great and hard work. You work in a position of the conductor like a sound engineer. You are the only one responsible, and except of the help of the assistant, if you have one, that could tell you how does it sound, and then you have to, in the same moment, to find the solutions and to know to whom to ask to play softer or yeah. But the problem is also that this is one thing to ask, and the second thing is if it's really possible, and if it's not. Because play softer sometimes is much more difficult for the instruments which are using wind. Yeah, for the wind instrument, it's much more difficult than playing loud.
I see.
And in the loud, to play loud, of course, you need more force and more brief support. But this is not necessarily harder than playing softer. And this is a big art to find just the right balance between the singer and the orchestra. Yeah, it's it's such a fun work.
Yeah, but I'm also I also heard once a singer that mentioned something about the tempo, that the tempo was too slow, and then she struggled breathing, with the breathing or with. So that's also something that you have to take into consideration, is that you have exactly that right tempo.
Absolutely, and that I was mentioning also about the choir. You have to feel their breathing, and sometimes even trying to sing, but just in the mind with the singer, and understand how he feels now. Because to be clear, sometimes we jump into the performance and we have to be like Rada 360 degrees. But when we rehearse, we know and we discuss about every breath, about every phrase, about the tempos, and that is it. I mean, then we have to bring it into the orchestra after our ensemble rehearsals, so to say, with the singers and without orchestra. So then it should be just right. But the singers, this is a very also important topic, because normally if the singer is having a solo, an aria or a cavatina or I don't know, a recitative monologue, so to say, monologue, then the conductor has to follow normally. the conductor has to give space and makes the best conditions for the singer to sing. But there is also a fine line between following and guiding and a bit of taking under the control. And no one can teach you where and at which point what should happen. It's about feeling, it's about experience also. And just in the same area, it could be like 12 times switching this here and there. She's guiding or he's guiding, I'm taking the control. He's guiding, I'm taking the control. She's staying on one note, guiding. At the ending, I have to take the control because she's already too much. Okay, and I take the control. So these things happen in a way automatically after you have a lot of experience. I have very less experience. I just can understand them now. But in order to make them absolutely natural and absolutely, how can I say, in a professional way, flawless, then it needs time and an understanding of the music, understanding of the way of singing, understanding of the music, understanding of the text as well, a lot, because the text also tells you much. How is the tempo? How is the slow or fast? How is the dynamic, loud or soft? Certain gestures or certain, it depends also on the words a lot. And this, yes, I mean, some singers dare to open the eyes or to do some body movements to show the maestro that it's too slow or it's too fast in the performance. Yes, I mean, it happens and it's alive.
Oh, really?
It's the theater is something that is living, is breathing. This is the most exciting part about it. It's flexible. Every day is different.
Yeah, but it's also not always the same singer. So there's different singers in a cast. So you have to adapt to everyone.
Exactly. Understanding. This is a different, very, very long topic about the psychology of working with musicians or in just in collaborating with musicians. And as a conductor is it's such a hard topic to understand the psychology of everyone. The orchestra has its own psychology. Even in the orchestra, strings are very different from the wind players. Brass players are very different from the horn players, which are not really brass, but kind of a brass. And percussion is completely from another world. They are thinking different. I cannot expect from everyone to be the same, have the same passions or have the same understanding, because the violinists, they are practicing so much and from a very, very so to say early age, and they for example are having a much more personal relationship with their instruments than, for example, a contrabass player, a double bass player, because sometimes they get an instrument in that house and another instrument in the other house. Pianists as well, they get different instruments in every house. They don't have this personal approach to their instruments. And for a violinist, for example, the violin is the everything. It's like an organ from from them, from their body. Which is not the same with the percussion. Percussion players, they know mathematics the best from the whole, because they have to count a lot and they are very precise and having a great sense of rhythm in their body. And they play a lot of instruments, not just one. Percussion section has more than, I don't know, if I will be mistaken now, but for sure 100 of variations and of different pieces of instruments, and they have to play all of them. So it's different. Just in the orchestra, the psychology is different, but the singers themselves are from another world.
Oh, really?
In comparison with the orchestra and choir as well. So this is a very interesting so to say, process to watch and to feel them and to try to bring them together, because they think different and they feel different and they get tired in a different manner and different speed, and sometimes a singer gets tired faster than the orchestra and so on. I mean, yeah, it happens.
So you have to have this empathy as well, or this understanding, and try to figure out why somebody acts in a certain
and
way.
react in that moment, and try to bring them together. And someone is arguing with the one across, and you have to just I mean, some conductors are doing it in a different way. They are yelling even louder, so they have the so they get the authority. And some of them, some of them are just using another type of energy and approach. And I think the most important is the respect, and also this dedication. Because if everyone will see you dedicated 100%, they will never try to argue with you or to try to make themselves higher. They will be in a team, and I observed that even in the most problematic orchestras that they were telling me that they are problematic, and we could work out very well.
But I think it's also this if you can try to understand, then it also gives you that respect from them, because then you try to see things from somebody else's point of view. Then it also makes a difference on how you
exactly. This is empathy, and constructiveness.
But now, the other part of what you did now was the ballet, because that's also a whole different ball game than all the rest that you were talking about now.
Exactly, absolutely different psychology. But the ballet dancers are very patient. They say that all the conductors run from ballet. They don't. They find it hard to conduct a ballet.
Really?
And they are very thankful. And if a conductor really takes ballet and comes to the rehearsal, and I tried really to attend to almost every rehearsal of the ballet, which they were learning from scratch the whole choreography, which is pretty difficult. That we had now. We had a brilliant director, which is working in Slovenia, in Maribor, Valentina Turcu. And she has a part of her roots in Romania, and especially here in the city where I conducted the premiere in Cluj-Napoca. And she was invited to bring her production here from the scratch. And this was something absolutely new for them. And I wanted to see really this process of how they are developing from this hand to this hand, or how they are doing all the periods and all the arabesque, and what variation of all these basic classical, so to say, ballet movements, how she's transforming them and how she's combining into her masterpiece of choreography. And I must say it was absolutely enriching experience, which then I tried to also translate to the orchestra, and also we took it from the scratch, because we had a very bad parts for the orchestra, and we tried to make them clear, crystallize them. And every orchestra member is a hero, I must say. The staff that worked on the scores also are heroes, and I think we did a great job. It's now the child was born, I mean, the choreography and the production, now it has its own life, and we hope it will be successful
Really,
every
yeah.
time it will be on the stage. Yeah, I
Amazing.
had
And how
a
many
great
how
experience.
many runs will you have of this production?
I had yesterday the premiere, and it was my ballet debut, so to say. And we have several performances until now, and they are already for 2 weeks already sold out.
Amazing. Is it Romeo and Juliet I saw?
It's
Yeah.
of course I forgot to say it's
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
most beautiful tragedy in the history. Tragedy, which implies, of course, love and
Yeah.
hate, and again love. It's about the Prokofiev's Romeo and Julia
Oh, okay.
and Juliet. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to now basically watch the movement. You don't have, because when it's I spoke to a ballet conductor also from the Royal Ballet, and he said that it's this thing where the orchestra, they don't hear anything because it's they sitting with their backs to the ballet dancer, and you are now the interpreter basically.
Yes, I'm the transmitter, and I'm trying to unite the connector, so to say, not in the physical terms, electrophysical terms. And in this house, and I think in all the modern houses, the ballet dancers can hear the music from the orchestra, which is transmitted through the microphones, and because it's normally sometimes it's a gap, is the time gap, or it's delay. I meant delay, or it's just acoustically impossible to hear every accent and every entrance, and it depends on the music. Sometimes the music is so soft that they don't hear that they already have to move, or some accents are coming too late and they have to jump on that accent, and they have to. We worked on that they hear everything. Second of all, I can help a lot of the ballet dancers with my movements. I was very
Really?
very much dancing them to support and to show that they are together, and try to kind of adapt the orchestra to their rhythms and their tempo, because it happens sometimes someone is already late and they have to wait even more, or slowing the music even more so that we come together on this point. And it's absolutely amazing. It's in a way harder than with the singers, because the singers are looking at you and can, I mean, they are free in their singing. Ballet dancers have this movement combined in that diagonal, and they have to do it, and we have to somehow catch each other. They cannot slow down, or cannot do it faster, or cannot run faster, because the gravity is the same, and the distance it cannot be stretched in the ballet. But we can stretch. We can give support, musical support, accents, tempo. If I feel that he's in a good shape today, then I can take him in a faster tempo to give him or her a bit more courage. And I felt that yesterday. And it's an amazing world. It's not easy in that way, that we are not a musical tape that starts and ends. If you really feel the plot and the direction, we had an absolutely cinematic and expressive production. It's not just about dancing, it's about acting, it's about screaming, letting out all the emotions. It's about giving the whole body, I don't know, such movements that are taking it to another dimension, the expressiveness, and also the face, the eyes, and this has to be supported by music. The conductor normally has to know that, and to follow, and to give the right touch of everything, of dynamic and the atmosphere, musical atmosphere. And it can be different in every day. We've had 4, I think, general rehearsals. I mean, 4 times we played it from the beginning to the end, but every time is something different. Every time someone falls, someone is they fight and something goes wrong, and it happens.
But,
and I have to take over.
But I suspect that when you are part of the rehearsal process, also you also sort of get to know them and their style and their way of working.
Yes, they absolutely. Every ballet ensemble is different. Every ballet class is different, also depending on their professor and depending on the constellation of the dancer that they have at that moment, and also it depends also on their relationship between each other. You never know, who is envying whom and who wants to be Romeo and who is not Romeo yet. And they have to, in the end, they have to be their best in their roles. And you could see who is more introvert and who is more of extrovert, and then the goal is to open that introvert and to temperate or to know how to control that extrovert. Yes, and I have to understand that as well. Because if not, it's not a wall, but it's so to say a gap between us. We're not connected. We have to be connected. And the understanding, empathy, and also loving this music, loving this the story itself, of course, and the production. And when I saw the trailer and some 1 year ago, almost 1 year ago, some glimpse of this production, that I fell in love with from the first sight. It was wow. Is it on the stage? Is this a sequence from a ballet production? I couldn't believe, and I said, "Of course, I want to do it." It's my first ballet. Is just incredible.
Amazing.
It's not Nutcracker. It's not Swan Lake. It's not Giselle. It's not, I don't know, Carmen, but it's Prokofiev, Romeo.
Well, it's about love, and it's Romeo and Juliet, so it's a very memorable and a good one to start with. But have you now, after doing, because all these different aspects of conducting, do you have something that you really feel, you know what, this is my thing, or do you like the variety of doing?
I like the variety of doing.
You do.
And I think I will stay like that, yes. Because I think so to say, a musician or I hope an artist has to find the music in everything, a musician and a complete artist. I think has to do everything, or not maybe every composer, but if he or she feels the music and loves the composer and being a part of this process, taking it from 0 to more than 100, then I don't see any problem into doing everything. I would be very incomplete or feel incomplete if I would not do if I wouldn't be able to do the music I love.
Yeah. But you also compose your own music. So do you ever get a chance to play that as well with orchestra?
Yes, this is a good question. I hope. I have a lot of chances to do that. The problem is the point of the time, or the point in the career where am I now, which is more of based on conducting. And I must say it's absolutely the hardest thing to combine these two in the parallel. but it's not impossible. And this is a matter of managing time. What I can say is just that there are several projects which are waiting for me, and I'm waiting for them, and we miss each other. And I will definitely start and continue them. And I hope that I will have enough energy to take them to the light. But I'm really missing them.
Yeah, because I'm thinking you're so busy and you're doing, and I mean, it takes a lot of time doing what you're doing.
I'm just starting being busy, not busy yet. That's why it's a very normal process, and it's absolutely a normal thing with what happens now. I'm very thankful for every chance I get, and I'm still thinking about music, about my own music, let's say, and trying to apply those approaches of the composing, of the where I want to take this music, to the music that I already conduct and I already do now. So yeah, I'm still doing a lot of arrangements, and I'm still working with the pencil, so to say.
Okay, but now for you, when you compose, you need quiet, and you do. Okay, so you don't.
I need a bit of a time and space isolation. Maybe I discovered that.
Yeah.
Because it's just another type of working. It's another type of concentration. It's also a lot of. It's a long process of organization, because if you organize things well, then you can spare the inspiration. But to open the inspiration, you need I can talk about myself. You need some distance from all the activity and all the other music that we are performing.
But Cristian, you're a pianist. At what stage in your life did you realize you wanted to be a conductor?
At a very early stage, I think, when I composed a piece for a string orchestra and piano, and I realized I wanted to work with musicians, and I wanted to give them and to tell them how I want it in my piece, and to inspire them why it is like that. It was first a desire to explain them my music. Then I discovered the desire of giving a different touch to the music that already exists, in a way that I felt to be listening and to hearing some interesting things in the music that I normally don't see taken into the light. And I wanted to bring those interesting, so to say, spices or ingredients from the music that I already know to the light. That means that it could be just a phrase, or it could be just an element that I could feel that it is ignored by another performers or conductors. And this was in the beginning. I couldn't figure out. But this is so interesting. Why there? It's not emphasized. But this has this accent which gives the music completely different character and completely different way. Such a modern touch to this classical piece, and I cannot hear it anywhere. How can I do it? I want to do it and to hear it.
How old were you then? Did you discover?
I think I was in the college, maybe 17, 18. No, I'm lying. It's 16, 17, I think I was back then. And I was listening to that and discovering so much music, and I was looking into the score, and something was not right. For me back then, because I was interested as a composer into the composers brain, to enter in the composer's brain, and to see that, wow, he stretched that, or he did that so interesting, and it's not really perceived or emphasized or ignored, or it was just my feeling about that. But I wanted to have it different, because I had a argument for that. It's very important to have an argument. And I try to not take a piece if I don't have a strong argument for it.
Oh, I see. Okay. But well, that's interesting. So do you feel that now you can do that? Do you find pieces now that you feel?
It's hard to say, but I feel I can do that. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but at least I am trying. And
okay.
yes, I have all the tools to do that.
Yeah.
Now it's the aesthetic question. If it has a value to be a recording, or to become a recording, or to become something that has to be heard by more people. And the other thing is very important, which is very important, is of course the listener and the public. Without it, a lot of magic things are not happening really without them. And this is a big problem when you record, because you're without public, and you can do the same thing again and again and again until you get to the smallest detail to record it again and again, and you lose this smooth magic. I'm using too much the word magic already, but this kind of feeling of beginning and keeping the tension until the end. And this is the only problem of the recording. And I think the live concerts are the best recordings normally.
Well, magic magic is the right word, because it is like that, it's something that you just can't explain.
Something that we cannot explain. Exactly. And in order to do it, you have to be also very informed. So you asked me if I can do that. I can do some things, but I'm still not, of course, still learning, but still trying to research and read and look again and again, as much time as I can. And even if you do, for example, as I did Romeo and Julia, it's not the perfection yet. It's not that Romeo and Julia, which maybe I really want to do it, but now I just let it go through my body, through my feelings, and taking from this experience something that I can analyze then, and I can learn from it and discover it then from the new light. This is a long process to get to what you really want, and to get to hear those details with the same curiosity that I heard them. It's not how can I say, sufficient to just ask the people play it louder because I found it interesting. No, we have to everyone understand it, why it's there.
I know, and it's also like that. If you don't do something, you cannot improve on that. Or if you're not, you first have to do something to be able to step on that and do the next.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. This is the hardest part, to get the chance, and to be absolutely convincing, and you have to have a point anyway. But then the biggest problem would be, and the biggest scene, so to say, would be to stop on that and not really try to develop even more, and to learn from it, and to try to think, how can I, or am I really satisfied with that, or what could I do to be like harmonious from the point 0 to point 100. Or to point absolute.
Well, Cristian, as always, it's so interesting to talk to you. Since the first time I met you, I found so fascinating your passion with music and how you explain it, and just how your whole approach to it. It's wonderful. It's And thank you so much for your time.
I'm also very thankful to you a lot for meeting me and just without knowing me, just asking me to meet you and to talk to you and do some photographs. It was a very beautiful point in my life when we met and we started talking, and I was admiring you a lot in all the time of COVID. Maybe you were the that light ray of light in the whole COVID period of the Vienna, which united people so much. And I was very glad to see you doing that. And
I'm
very proud to be a part of it as well.
Oh, okay. No, I'm proud to have you. But you were the first musician I ever photographed. So that's been a very special photo shoot, the one that we did here and the one with the piano as well. So I'm very it's a very special photo shoot for me, and I'm very happy that you were in the project also, the Moments in Lockdown. So yes, I ended up taking 500 photographing 500 artists.
500 artists. Incredible.
Artists, yeah. So
I mean, Vienna is full, but you did an incredible job. It's just celestial.
Yeah. Well, you have to be half crazy to run around Vienna in lockdown to get 500 artists. So, but anyway,
I would be very, very happy to buy an album from a store and to give it to as much friends and family friends as I can.
I would,
of all these photographs, if there will be one.
I would love to. I want to publish it in a book because I think it's it's a time period that we'll never hopefully experience again. And it was just that time, it was just that year that, And I think many artists have also moved away. And so I think that time period will be so like a time capsule to think, okay, what was
Absolutely.
I doing then, and I can see on Instagram and social media how everybody has progressed from there, and it's huge progressions, so I think we don't realize it, but if you always look back on that photograph and you can see where you are now, then it's almost that evidence of what's happened in that time period. So
absolutely.
Yeah. But Cristian, have a wonderful weekend, and I'm still following you on Instagram and seeing all your lovely posts about your work, and I'm really very proud of you.
Thank you, Petra. I'm very glad that we are still keeping the connection, and I hope we'll keep it.
We'll do
even more.
Yeah.
Furthermore.
Thank you, Cristian.
Thank you. Spread love and have a great weekend as well.
And you too. Okay. Bye.
Yeah. Goodbye.